In a world full of art and mobile games that are actually pretty freaking good. That's right, you got Neon Pocket Dimension, a place where people come to nerd out on anything that they are, well, nerding out on, and it feels safe and comforted to do so. I am one of your hosts, Gage, aka Luke Shot First. To my digital left is Miguel. Say what up, Miguel.
How are you?
Good, good. Audio format, always good to wave.
Not awkward. Not awkward at all.
Down below, we've got my good buddy, internet friend. Lots to say about him. He's OM Jesus, aka Jacob Jones.
Thank you for the introduction, Zaddy Supreme.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Before we go any further, just want to let you know I'm swagged out. Golden Knights, Stanley Cup champions. Got the hat on. Got the shirt on. And there you go. That's it. Thank you.
Go Knights! I support you guys. You know, I'm a Sharks guy. I know you guys hate the Sharks, but I'm proud of you guys. I'm happy for you guys. Come on, all right. And without further ado, we got a special guest from the Simply Sassy YouTube channel. How do you guys? I don't know exactly how you guys say it, but this is Phillip J Woodward to my digital southeast. There it is.
Guys, I am glugin everywhere. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh, so much gluten.
There you go. Perfect.
Welcome to the
Also,
club.
I'm also a Sharks fan, so.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, yeah.
We're diametrically
We're both
opposed.
Northern California boys, so you know.
Just because I said something, my camera's not focusing anymore, so that's what I get. Continue.
That's what you get. It'll come back to you. It's all nice and blurry. That's good. Oh, nice. Well, how you doing, Philip? Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah.
I know it was a photo finish for you there.
I don't even think it was a photo finish. I think I was straight up last in that race to get here. What are you gonna do?
It happens.
Well, yeah, fellow Humboldt friend. This is so a little backstory for the listeners of sorts. We have been internet friends for a long time. You know, we're kind of funny best friends. You run a awesome YouTube channel and podcasts of various shows that we'll let you plug in a second. So I'd known about you through that. I'd known about you through like Kind of Funny Games Daily Chat. I'd known about, you know, all that kind of stuff. The Photoshop and not KFAF Photoshop challenges. And then we had kind of been nerding out and geeking out on Twitter about Marvel Snap of late. And then I forget exactly how it happened, but somehow you realized that I realized, oh, it was the Fairy Festival.
I was about to say it was the Fairy Festival. I was like, hey, check this cool picture of Majora's Mask link that I saw at this Fairy Festival today. And you messaged me in a reply to that tweet, and you were like, wait, there's a fair. Yeah, exactly. Oh, listen. You were like, there's a Fairy Festival where I am. And my brain was like, wait, how many fairy festivals can there be? And so
yeah, exactly.
I was
on the same day.
Instead of replying there, I ended up DMing you because, you know, even though I dox myself all day, every day by using my full name, it's still one of those things where I don't necessarily want to just shout where I live or where, you know, other people live. So I DM'd you and I was like, wait a second. So wait, where do you live? And we found out that we live very close to each other. Whoopsie
Yeah, we're definitely like about a 20-25 minute drive, maybe. Depends on, you know, how fast we're cruising down the 101. But
right.
But yeah, we both live in Humboldt County. I guess we can give the wider zone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Fairy Festival is cool. It happens down on the Arcata Plaza, which is a home to many funky, interesting, cool events. Like we just had the kinetic sculpture race a couple of weeks ago. That's a pretty famous event where there's this place called the Kinetic Sculpture Lab, and they make all these like man-powered vehicles, and they race from Arcata to where do they end up? Like Ferndale?
It's past Ferndale into Fortuna, I think.
Okay, yeah, maybe so.
But it might end in Ferndale too. I always forget because whenever it's happening, I'm always in Eureka. So
yeah, I feel it. But they have to float too. They have to get across the bay. There's like a bay in Humboldt, and so they have to both be able to be mostly like kind of bicycled on land. A lot of them are like powered by pedals. Yeah, amphibious. There it is. Good word.
You said Arcada. Is that like Frogger, Pac-Man, Galaga? Which one?
Fun fact: there is a barcade in Arcada called Arcada, like arcade. It's not very good. It's okay. It's got a couple of machines in there, but it could be better.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm impressed.
I'm down with the name. Let's put it that way.
The name is really good, but it's a really small room. It's kind of, I don't know. It's all right.
To be fair, I haven't been there. However, I will say if they don't have Street Fighter Third Strike, I can't go.
Right?
They don't. The coolest thing they have is they have that 4-player Pac-Man board where like you can play 4-player Pac-Man and like you do the like
while sitting down or whatever.
And it's like $1 each spin, or each go. It's like really expensive.
It's cool. No, you like pay by time there. You like
that's
pay
good.
by the hour, and then there's drinks and you buy drinks and stuff like that.
We got this place here that we went to on my birthday this past year called Game Nests, and they do the same thing there. But there's like a ton of rhythm games there. Pretty sweet. Not enough shoot 'em ups though, because that's what I like in an arcade. Yep.
Oh yeah, and then they have the X-Men cabinet, the old
Yeah.
that one like it's like a brawler, I think. Maybe it's a brawler, I think.
Nightcrawler's
Made by
in that one.
Capcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like Nightcrawler, Wolverine.
I can tell you who made the game. I can't tell you what the name is. It's like X-Men Children of Destiny. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's got some big long subtitle or something. I remember like
Children of the Atom.
Cyclops
No. What? Now I gotta.
Should I
It might be
Google it?
the Atom actually.
Nice.
X-Men arcade game.
Anyways, this is Neon Pocket Dimension. We're a podcast where all things nerdy are welcome. Every week we get together and talk sometimes news, sometimes specific topics like this week. And we always love to have special guests on to find out what they've been nerding out on. So without further ado, we are going to go into the titular Weibnu, which stands for what you've been nerding out on.
Yes, sir.
Not to throw you on the spot, Philip, but we do usually let our guests go first. So anything that you've been nerding out on, it could be video games, stuff you've been watching, or something weird like I told you before. People have nerded out on sourdough bread starts or, Pokemon in general. Weird stuff.
I need that one too.
So, yeah, I have been nerding out on 4 things specifically, I think, as of late. The biggest one is Marvel Snap, obviously. Ever since that game launched in October, I've been absolutely obsessed. For those, nobody knows me here, but I have a medical condition that I take medication for. And in that period of time, I was in a position where I couldn't really use my hands. So I couldn't hold a controller or do anything art related. So I found kind of a solace in Marvel Snap. And because it allowed me to do something to occupy myself, and it was really fun, it was engaging, and I got to learn quite a bit about the game through that. And so that became an obsession that has now lasted 8 months, which is insane. I don't know if I've ever played a mobile game other than like Threes. Threes is probably the only game other than Marvel Snap that I've ever gotten into on my phone.
Sorry.
And so yeah, there's that. The other thing that I've been nerding out on as of late is Street Fighter 6. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I've been playing Street Fighter since arcade days back in '92 because I'm old.
Jacob with the threes B-roll over here.
Yo,
What is this? It's on Android. I'm down. I'll get it.
it's very addicting. It's very fun. You only pay
careful
for
with
it once.
threes will get you for sure.
And yeah, I've got I want to say 17,000 games in Threes over the last however long it's been out.
Jeez.
That feels like a lot.
It is a lot.
It is, but that is a lot for sure. But it is one of those games where you play a lot of it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a commute or something. It's like.
And it's just kind of mindless. You go through a couple games wherever you're going. Each game lasts anywhere from, I don't know, a couple minutes to 5 minutes maybe. I don't know if there's any time where you're going longer than that, unless you're taking breaks or something. But anyway, I've been a huge Street Fighter fan for a long time. I fell off in Street Fighter V. I just didn't like the way it played. The mechanics weren't as fun for me. It felt really restrictive in a lot of ways, so I kind of fell off of it pretty quickly. I also made the mistake of buying it on PC. Even though it had crossplay between PlayStation, I didn't find myself sitting in front of my PC to play it very often, and that's partially due to how I felt about it, but also partially because I wanted to, do something in the front room, be with my wife, and do something there. So I kind of fell off of that. But then Street Fighter 6 came out just recently, and I've been absolutely obsessed with Street Fighter 6. It is incredible. It's so much fun. They basically took all of the safety belts and everything off of characters, and were like, just go wild. We'll fix things in post.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's so good.
It's so much fun. There's so much customizability. I've spent way too much time in the World Tour mode. I went through and got every single character's second outfit, which took about 35 hours.
Whoa.
And I spent way too much time in that, but I let me figure out what was really like, which character I really liked, because in the World Tour mode you learn moves through making characters your master. You meet them in the world, and then you kind of do like a little cutscene with them, and then you use their style, and that levels up, and then you get to go back to that character and learn more moves, and then they eventually give you quests, things like that. And it's a lot of fun, but it's also very PS2 generation. Like, it feels like a game you would have found on the PlayStation 2, not a game you would find on the PlayStation 5. Obviously,
there's a Mortal Kombat, right? That's similar to that, right? Where you go around a world in that same way, and you like talk to the different Mortal Kombat. I think it's Deception, maybe.
It's I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, you're basically like a monk that runs around and does stuff. The difference is,
Thank you.
in this game, every single time you go into a fight, it goes into a Street Fighter fight instead of the Mortal Kombat game that you're referencing. You could just fight stuff on the field
In the world.
yeah. This when you make contact with someone, it goes to like a 2D fighting game screen, and then you guys fight each other. And sometimes there are 4 to 8 different people that you fight in a single
At
round.
the same time.
So going from that transition, I can see how a lot of people wouldn't like it, but I had a very Japanese RPG mentality about it, where I was like, oh, I'm just going into the battle system.
Random encounters kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly, just like that. And so I've really enjoyed my time with it, but I can definitely see where people would either fall off of it or not enjoy their time with it, or think that their time is not well spent in that mode, especially if you're going to spend a lot of time in ranked, a lot of time in casual matches, and actually playing the game itself. I feel like it's a nice distraction, but it's not going to help you to necessarily learn the game, especially because they have tutorials in this that are all the way up till the end of the story, where they're still teaching. And that's, like I said, that's 35 hours later. I mean, you should have learned all of that stuff way earlier than that.
Right.
So there's a lot of bloat, and there's a lot of stuff that's in there that doesn't need to be, or that could have been put closer to the beginning to let you free roam a little bit more, instead of bottlenecking you into these specific situations and story chapters.
Did you make a fucked up looking guy for it?
No, I always have my wife create a character for me.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
She loves character creators, so every time I get a game where I have a character creator, I'm like, hey, make me a character. And the only question she ever asks me is, do you want to be a man or do you want to be a woman? And that's the only question, and it's very dependent on which game I'm playing. But in this case, I said, make a cool, badass chick. Please do it.
Awesome.
And she made a really awesome woman avatar, and it's really cool, and I've been using it ever since, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nice.
I had
That's awesome.
another question too, but I can't remember. So there you go. Oh, I was gonna say, the best thing about World Tour though, is just being able to go around and punch the fuck out of whoever's on the street, because it's really funny. Just that doesn't get old.
After you unlock a couple of the masters, you get access to these special moves where you hold R2 and then press like square, triangle, circle, X, and it does one of the famous moves. And there's two things behind it. One, it allows you to platform, and B, it allows you to engage enemies or people you want to fight before they engage you. And it's really funny sometimes to just do a rising upper straight into a hot dog vendor's mouth.
Yeah. Great game, dude. Great game. I put a lot of just shout outs to the tutorial modes in that game. With outside of World Tour, I've put a lot of time in reuse combo training, just to like, you can set a setting to just continue to repeat the same lesson over and over again, and it'll still register the combo even if you kind of start it with something else. So like I've done some experimentation like with the that dash, I forget exactly what it's called, but that special dash. Yes.
Got you.
Where I'm like,
Nerd.
I haven't played enough of Street Fighter 6 yet, probably like 5 hours mostly in training mode.
Yeah, no, like I said,
yeah.
I've been absolutely nerding out on it. If you need a term, I got you.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for the assist. What else you got?
Well, real quick, I want to say the only thing that I don't like about the combo tutorials is that they don't have the inputs on screen. So if you're trying to learn a new character, they show you the move name, but they don't put the input on the screen. Oh, wait, can you put
There's
it on
an
there?
option, dude. I've swapped it. Yes. Go in the settings. There's an option for it. Now I hooked you up. I hooked you up, buddy.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm gonna look that up because I was trying to learn.
Very frustrating. I agree with you.
And I know all her moves now, but when I was first starting, I saw the name and I was like, okay, I got to go look and see what this is. I didn't realize there was an option to change it, so I'm gonna go check that out tonight.
Change that shit immediately.
Immediately. Okay, next is Final Fantasy 16. I cannot stop thinking about this game. I wasn't going to engage in the demo originally, but then I read that the save data carries over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to play. I didn't end up doing the second part of the demo because I don't want any spoilers going in.
Yeah.
I stopped watching trailers after the first trailer back in like 2020. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm buying this game day one. It doesn't matter. Being that it's by the that's funny. Being that it's by the Final Fantasy XIV developer, that they're going to do everything in their power to make this the most engaging Final Fantasy that they can, but also make it their own. Because that's what they've done with Final Fantasy XIV. They've made this extremely expansive, amazing world and chocked it full of not just Final Fantasy references, but Square references. And they're so good at it's like almost like Smash, where every time they introduce a character in Smash, or some sort of thing in Smash, they always have a ton of references, or the character plays like really faithful to the games that they come from. And I feel that way about Final Fantasy XIV and its side missions when you're doing like the near automata missions and stuff like that, or the Monster Hunter stuff that they did a collaboration for. And it's just so cool how faithful they are to the source material and to kind of the homages that they create within those missions for that game, even though they're making their own universe. And I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is one of those things that you're going to see chocobos, you're going to see the Moogle, you're going to see, that overture when you're playing the demo and it starts the Crystals overture in the new remixed version when you're walking around. I kid you not, I almost teared up. I was like, wow, my God, this is like my childhood in a song. And it's incredible.
There's something about Final Fantasy music that's pretty unrivaled, and I'm sure they're gonna hit you with it at key points where you're like, what the heck,
Yeah, no.
Cheers to Nobuo, man.
Absolutely amazing. And I get people that are saying, this isn't Final Fantasy because, they've moved so far away from the turn-based fighting systems now, and it's much darker and more mature. But come on, man, we've grown up with this series. I know that there are younger people who just got introduced to Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy 13, or they only know Final Fantasy 14. But a lot of us have grown up with the franchise. It's Tim Geddes, if you're a Kind of Funny best friend or Kind of Funny at all, Tim Geddes always talks about how he would love a mature Pokemon.
Yeah,
this
delivers that. Yeah,
for Final Fantasy. And I'm all here for it. I'm stoked. I can't wait to, play this game and see what Zidane's mom is up to. And I can't remember her name. It's like Benedicta, I think, is her name.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
But
so
she totally just looks like Zidane's mom.
Straight up, dude. Hey, those youngins can play the pixel remasters of 1 through 6, which are excellent and should be played by the youngsters. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think also it's like the developers were obviously inspired, like they've all referenced Game of Thrones and having their employees watch it and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
they
like
were
they
forced to.
you know, whenever
Yeah.
a developer like is latching on to an idea and you can tell like they're like 100% behind it, I'm like, run with it. I want to see what you do, you know, like as opposed to something that feels generic or half baked or, you know, like
Yeah,
like every
and
other video
Story
game in the
is
world.
so
you know?
good, dude, from the
And
demo.
everything that Final Fantasy is there. You've got Kuraga, you've got the crystals, you've got Blizzaga, you've got Shiva, you've got the Titan, you've got all of the stuff. Even the enemies are enemies from Final Fantasy. They may have redesigns, but when you go look at an enemy for the Final Fantasy wiki, you'll see that they already have seven different redesigns. So can we not focus on that?
Yeah, they're calling the Marlboro like something else,
Mhm.
but like, come on. I mean, that's
it's
a company.
instead of Marlboro, it's Marble. Like Marble.
Yeah, with an L at the end, right? Like Marble.
Yeah, it's like Marbol.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's
I'm cool.
because I assume it's because they want to get away from the cigarettes, the Marlboro like
Interesting
thing. But I don't know. I have no idea if that's true. But that's the only thing I can think of as to why they'd change it
Makes
after
sense.
so much time.
Do you think we're gonna see a
kind of the way-
cactuar?
Wait, sorry. Two people spoke at the same time.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Gage, but I need to ask the most important Final Fantasy 16 question. Will there be a cactuar in the game? Do you
Oh
think?
God, I hope so.
Same.
We know that there's desert-like areas, so
Imagine there would be, yes.
There has to be.
I would assume it'll be one of the special enemies that you fight, just like Final Fantasy 12. It'll just be out there. Yeah.
1,000 needles, baby. I'm sorry, Gage. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I think I forget. Oh no, I was gonna say it's kind of like the way that some people complain about this, but I always find it pretty cool. Actually, it's like kind of a through line between like FromSoft oftentimes reuses certain boss animations, in their like they carry forward bosses that are kind of inspired by bosses before. Like in Elden Ring, the like putrid Erd tree things that were down in like certain dungeons. That were like just super gross, drippy, like Erd tree stuff. Like those were based off of like a pretty similar boss in Dark Souls 3. But it's like I think that's kind of cool because you kind of recognize it. You're like, oh hey, I remember that. Like same way, like you can reskin an enemy, but it's like it's cool. It's kind of lore based. You know what I mean? So I'm all good for that. But this game looks insane.
Can we talk about something real quick? We need to stop bashing game developers for reusing assets and animations.
Totally.
It needs to stop.
Great job.
If you go back to one of the best games ever made, which is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the entire game is retooled assets from previous Capcom titles mashed together to create a unified experience. And I feel like if we allowed developers to do that more often, I mean, you don't necessarily notice it as much in the Resident Evil games, but all of the new RE Engine games reuse certain assets and materials to help make their worlds faster for the remakes and for the newer games. And we need to stop. Like I remember there was a whole thread about a reused grappling hook animation in Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm like, why are we complaining about this? Like, who cares if they didn't make a brand new animation for this? As long as
I want to play the game before 10 years time. Like, give me give me what you can to cut some corners there.
We 100% agree with you here at Neon Pocket Dimension. We're constantly saying what the fuck is wrong with gamers. You know, respect your game developers. You wouldn't have the games without them. And what's wrong with reusing assets or animations? Like, stuff like that doesn't matter. Gamers just aren't ever happy. They just want to find a reason to bitch and moan about whatever. It's like, man, at the end of the day, they're bitching and moaning. You know what? They're going to buy the game anyway, and they're going to play it, and they're going to cry the whole time or something. But, you know, it's like, just shut up, man. Play the game and have fun. Like, what's wrong with people?
I just want to know how many times you can make a chain link fence, you know, in a video game and make it unique. I'd like just let them use the same chain link fence, you guys.
I got a soundboard sample for that. Swinging the chain.
And and it's also like I like to see like I don't know. Again, there's like kind of like a heritage thing to it. It's kind of like in music, right? Like reggae, for instance. There's like certain bass lines in reggae that you'll just hear like archetypally throughout like generations of reggae that they use over and over again. And instead of it doesn't feel like cheap or anything. It feels like it's like an homage to things like that. So even just the way that like when in things like Final Fantasy, it's like things like chocobos, some of the enemies, the summons or the icons as they're calling it in this one, like those little through lines are like all that you can really grasp onto that really like follow through all of the Final Fantasies. But it's cool. It's like heritage, right? Like it's this little bit that you hold on to through each game. So that's pretty cool.
I am so intrigued by the icons and like how the dominants are gonna work and the through line of the main character and his family. I don't want to spoil anything for no one. It's for people who haven't played the demo. But man, I am so intrigued. That it's so crazy that in like a 2-ish hour demo they managed to make me feel like this is one of the most lived in fantasy worlds ever created.
Hell yeah.
Another
That's music to Michael. That's music to Miguel's ears, I think too. He's excited about this.
another I'm sorry. Another over like essentially heritage thing that happens in music a lot with hip hop is that Common sample from "I Used to Love Her," where he's like, "Yes, yes, y'all, and you don't stop." You hear that in so many songs. Just saying.
When do you
Hell
think?
yeah.
When do you think something becomes like an Easter egg or something you expect? Like in movies, there's two things. There's
Willem screams?
yes, you got the first one, and then the other one is the digital blood spatter. There's like in any movie that has digital blood effects, there's almost always like the original blood effect in one of the effects somewhere.
Nice.
It's one of those things like and people love that. People love finding those things. They love hearing the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
the
Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Wilhelm. But yeah, people love hearing that scream and calling it out and being excited that it's there. I don't know. When does that become where it is instead of being something like, oh, I can't believe they reused that scream from that movie.
It just kind of happens, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Certain level of ubiquity. I mean, it's like even we were talking about this actually pre-stream, how it's like so nice, even though Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are such like different games than a lot of the other Zelda games. Like that's still satisfying thing when you solve a puzzle and it's like doodle 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 doodle, and it's just like
Oh,
that
man,
thing
every
that
time.
just brings
You're
you
like-
right back to it, and you're like, oh, I'm here, I'm doing the thing,
Even just moving up and down on a menu in Final Fantasy is like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
it's the sound.
Beep, beep, beep. That same ass sound from FF7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and all of them.
As it should be.
As it should be, sir.
As it should be. Okay,
Cool.
I have one more thing. This is the fourth thing that I've
Okay.
been nerding out on, and that is a little TV show produced by Sony Entertainment and syndicated, published. Anyway, it's on CBS. You can watch it on CBS,
Okay.
or I think currently it's streaming free on Netflix. But it's SWAT.
Oh.
Shamar Moore from Criminal Minds originally.
Criminal Minds guy.
Most people will know him from. He's the lead actor. He's the main character in this show, and I feel like there's a gentleman from Shield, the old Shield show. I think it's Shield.
Yeah,
where they were,
Agents
like
of
bad
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
cops. No, not that one. Not that one.
not that.
No, the one where it's like bad cops.
Yeah.
They're good cops that do bad things that fall down the bad path or whatever. I feel like one of those actors is in it. And yeah, this is SWAT right here. This is it.
Nice.
And
Is it
it's-
dope?
Every single episode is like a miniature action movie.
Whoa.
And
Yes.
I kid you not, I feel like they are able to create scenes, scenarios, and emotional impact in almost every single episode. And I somehow in the last few weeks have gone from season 1 to season 4. And I am absolutely obsessed with this show and completely nerding out.
That's hilarious. I've definitely seen like little stingers and previews for it like before videos or whatever on YouTube or things like that. And I was always just like, hey, it's Criminal Minds guy or whatever, and I just couldn't tell if it was like taking itself seriously or not. But that last trailer that you just saw, there was a lot more like action stuff.
That was
than I had
wild
seen
as
before.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
This is
on-
definitely getting
it's-
demonetized, but it's all for the nookie. It's all for the nookie, man.
It's on a level of like Mission Impossible where it's like it's serious, but it's also really over the top.
Fuck
Totally.
yeah.
So it's
Fast
a lot of
X.
fun. And I mean, there's even an episode where they go to Japan and they end up like working with the Japanese version of SWAT. And I have no idea if they're real, but you know how SWAT here, they've got the square riot shields.
Mhm.
No, apparently in Japan, it's like a thing that goes on your arm, and it's just a metal slab that fans out into a circle or like a star type
Whoa.
shape.
whoa.
And I
See
again have
here.
no idea if this thing is real or not.
Hmm.
Obviously, looking here, it
This
does
thing?
not seem so.
Hmm.
But it was just really crazy and over the top in the show. It felt like I was watching almost an episode of anime. There were women,
shit right here?
Japanese wrestlers. Yeah, that's it.
The fuck is this? This is amazing. This is
Yeah, and then
incredible.
there were women like Japanese women's wrestling in it where they just like beat up the SWAT guys for a little while. This
This shit
show
was
is wild, dude.
this shit was recorded in
Nice.
California somewhere.
Oh man, absolutely.
That's
Sounds like
awesome.
a fever dream, but I love it. That's awesome.
Dude, now I'm gonna have to watch SWAT.
Check it out, please.
Definitely.
I need reviews. I need to know if I'm just crazy while I watch this show or not.
It's gonna happen.
Hey man.
It's happening now. We're doing a
Hell
series
yeah.
on it. We're gonna do a series on it.
Nice.
Well, that's excellent. Those are all good things. I'm gonna jump off into why because I wanted to talk more about Marvel Snap because we kind of breezed by it.
Hold on, let me
Yeah, I didn't want to talk too much about Marvel Snap in case it was an actual topic. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're cool.
No.
I just want to pitch the name for our SWAT series where we talk about SWAT, the SWAT knots. Now go ahead.
Boom.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it sticks, but only if we actually like the show. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, it's all good. Well, for the topic, I kind of want to talk about your art. Kind of want to talk about Simply Sassy as a whole and some of that kind of stuff. So, for now, I'll just keep it in the Wibe News section. But yeah, Marvel Snap is really like, it's like every once in a great long while that a mobile game gets me, and I've been similar to the way it sounds. I mean, maybe not as intense. Is like having a medical condition that you had to go through some kind of hectic stuff. It sounds like, but I recently had a kid, which is also not a medical condition, but it's certainly a life-changing event. And so I wasn't able to do a lot of gaming. It was a lot of like my schedule is so frantic and weird. There's no real time to like sit down on the couch and like get lost into something. So Marvel Snap was a cool way to just like if I needed to kind of take a load off for a second, I could just jump into a game and enjoy myself. But then, like you said, like it gets really deep and the strategies behind it are so interesting and the deck building is surprisingly complex and there's like metas that kind of come through the game and the way that like it's pretty cool the way that they introduce new stuff in new seasons or frequent locations and stuff. Like you helped me figure out what was the space location that we were getting?
Deep space.
Yeah, deep space, and you helped me figure out like a deck to get around that and stuff, and so that's been really cool. And I've found some other Twitter people too who have been helping me out, like combating stuff. And now we have this new mode called Conquest, which is a whole nother meta, and like finding out ways to be successful in that. Although I'm still working out the kinks on that one, but it's a surprisingly deep game.
I gotta say there are a couple things. I'm gonna get back to Conquest in just a second.
Sure.
But yeah, the game when you first start is just overwhelmingly awesome. It's kind of introduces you. It makes you feel like a badass first of all because you're just fighting bots in the first round and you're like, God, why are these guys so easy? I'm so good at this game. And then you realize you're fighting bots and they're making the dumbest decisions on the planet and you're like, oh wait, I'm not cool. But as you're doing these things, you're learning about how different cards interact and how. Because at first it's like you just put the people you know in there, right? You put all the cool Marvel characters you know into your deck, and you're like, what happens? And then as you play, you learn how they interact and what they do, and it keeps kind of drip feeding you every so often a new card to utilize and to play with, and that keeps going up until you reach the what's called Series 3 cards.
Mm-hmm.
And at Series 3 is where you're either going to love Marvel Snap or you're going to hate it. Because at that point, you start getting cards every once in a while, not every single or every other time you open up a cache. So they're in, unlike a lot of games where you open up a booster pack and it gives you so many cards, and in like the case of Hearthstone, for example, you get a pack of 5 cards, and if you already have the card, it just automatically turns it into dust. Or if it's a card you didn't want, you can turn it into dust, and you can buy the cards you want in the kind of backside of the system. In this game, you have a collection track. Every time you upgrade a card, and upgrading a card is basically every single time you get a card, it starts with a gray border. Every time you use that card in a deck, you get what's called a booster when you finish a match. And it's random for the 12 cards you have in a deck. First of all, decks in Marvel Snap are 12 cards. There's no duplicate cards in a Marvel Snap deck, which is interesting. And
yeah,
very
at first
different.
that could be a little jarring. You're like, oh, I want a bunch of Carnages, but you're like, oh, no, I can't do that.
Can't do that.
Right.
Shit.
But luckily, they put enough in the game to kind of alleviate that with Deathstroke and not Deathstroke, Deathlock.
Deathlock, and then
I'm like
wrong universe
company there. Yeah, wrong company. Deathlock and Carnage and Venom and it's etc.
Yeah.
But anyway, each one starts with a gray border, and then you get to as you get more boosters, you get to upgrade those cards to make them cooler. So the second upgrade is they pop out of the borders. The cards are outside of the borders at that point.
Brain break.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next upgrade from there is 3D, where it does like a parallax for the background to the foreground, utilizing a couple different techniques to make it look that way. A, the cards are made in 3D. B, they use a technique that it came out just recently that can like animate a still image to look 3D.
And it's on the axis of your phone, right? Like great use of parallax, by the way. That's a great term. But yeah, like so if you move your phone, the background of the character in it looks really cool. It's a cool.
Yeah, the gyro in your phone it tracks it and it makes it look 3D.
It looks so cool.
The third upgrade animates the card, which is not like a true animation so much as they use again digital techniques to make it look like certain parts of it are animated or moving, or like the fire in the background of that one might be glowing, stuff like that to make the card feel more alive. And then the rest of the upgrades from there aren't great, but
there's like shiny logo, and then
which
Ultimate,
also
I think
moves.
just puts this like Ultimate makes this like animated border or something around it. I kind of forget what happens.
Yeah, so level 4 is the shiny logo, which again moves when you move your phone, and it like the shine on the letters moves. And then number 4 is animated border, and number 5 is infinity border, which is another type of animated border. From there, you can split the card into a foil, essentially, what you would see as a foil in other games. Where it has like a rainbow prism background or a gold background, or a lot of the coveted ones are inked backgrounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, that system replaces the idea of getting like a common card, a rare card, a legendary card, etc. So every card can be legendary in its own right. For real?
Exactly.
Long-winded explanation. Once you upgrade those cards, you get boosted on what's called the collection track.
Collection level or whatever.
Ghost Rider.
And as your collection level goes up, yes, we are seeing it right there at the top of the screen. And you'll notice that it has credits, boosters, and then a cache. When you first start, every time you open one of those caches or reserves, there's a card in it until you get to pool 3. Once you get to pool 3, it changes, and you don't always get a card. It took me almost to collection level 4,000 to get every single pool 3 card in the game.
Wow.
4,000.
Yeah, people have gotten there faster. Wow. I mean, it's all percentage based. It's all luck.
So okay.
I've seen people get there faster than I did, but yeah, I didn't end up finishing it off until close to collection level 4,000. And then that doesn't include Series 4 cards, which are even rarer than Series 3. And then the Series 5 cards, which are generally new release cards, or specialty known as boss cards like Galactus, like Thanos, and currently High Evolutionary, where they are always going to be pool 5 supposedly, or Series 5. And there's no pity timer for those. Those are just stuck in Series 5, and you have I think a 5% chance of opening one in the collection level, which is insane.
Yeah, right now there's like Iron Lad is also a new one in there.
Wow.
And thankfully they've added a token system to the game where you can spend tokens to buy the newer cards, and you earn the tokens through the collection level track. So it's better than it was when the game first came out, but this game still has a lot of growing to do, and that's probably the hardest part for a lot of people. Is there are going to be times where you, especially if you don't have the tokens to buy a new card, or you're, like me, a mostly free to play player, and you can't just drop money on packs that have tokens in them, then it really feels like your progress is completely stagnated. I felt so lost during the Iron Lad and Jeff meta when every single deck had Iron Lad and Jeff in it, because I was saving for High Evolutionary, and I couldn't justify spending 6,000 tokens on those 2 cards when I knew a quote unquote boss card was coming out pretty soon. And it felt, for a while, it felt like I wasn't just getting anything new at all in the game.
I was getting some variants that were like, oh, cool or whatever, but like, a lot of times there are variants that maybe you're not even using in decks and stuff, so you're like, well, I'm not going to really level it up and get more collection level from it necessarily, but sometimes, but it's a weird one. I'd say the one thing, the monetization in this game is other than the battle pass, I'd say the battle pass is always kind of worth it
if you're playing enough.
Because it makes every single, like, almost every single match like progresses you towards something new and interesting. But the stuff that's in the store is like oftentimes just over the top. Like, to buy, like, right now, like, it's that pack that you posted about earlier, the Bring the Pain pack with Hobgoblin and Scorpion, like the mech versions of them, which is super cool and has a bunch of good stuff in it, but it's $30. You're like, I'm not gonna do that, man. I don't know.
Half the price of Final Fantasy, well, little under half, but almost half the price of Final Fantasy 16. An entire game, you can get 2 cards that are that are nothing more than art for the cards, because you already have those cards, and if you don't, I actually think both of those are like pre-pool 3. Maybe Hobgoblin might be Series 3, but
I think Hobgoblin is Series 3, but Scorpion is definitely early. And
so then, it's like,
and then you get like some like some avatars, and then like some boosters.
I think 4,000 gold, but I mean that one's not nearly as bad as the $30 Darkhawk bundle.
Oh yeah,
that is just atrocious. That's literally just a card variant and an avatar with some boosters. Like, what?
People
but they're
love
the same
cards.
price for some reason. Anyway, the monetization stuff aside, the game is fantastic. The levels of depth and strategy are super fun. But the reason I like this game is, just like you said, the games are super quick. I can play a match while I'm just doing something really quick, waiting in a line or in between patients at work, things like that. And it's you're not there for like a half an hour in a
and you're not
game,
stuck
or
really
like a
either,
Runeterra game.
Like, it's nice in that. The other thing that's really great too about it, and I think this is really smart, is that they don't punish you if you do have to bail. You can retreat for, well, I guess you get punished like a few boosters of a card, but it's minimal. And so if you ever have to leave a match, it's not like you're stuck in it, and like the other person gets some points for it, so they're not really mad that you retreated.
Yeah, so there's
And
a cube
good.
system where where the whole game gets its name is you can snap, and of course they're talking about the Thanos snap.
Mhm.
But you basically have oh my god, what is the thing from
Morbius.
the cube? I can't remember what it's called right now.
The Tesseract.
Tesseract, thank
Tesseract,
you.
yeah.
So you have the Tesseract up at the top of the screen, and at first there's just a 1 there. As you progress through the game, if you feel like you're doing really well, you can tap on the Tesseract and essentially bet more points that you're going to win. And so when you first snap, it goes from 1 to 2. If they snap back, it goes from 2 to 4. And then at the end of the game, it's 8. If they end up following through. But at any time, if you feel like, oh no, they just made a super good play, now I'm going to lose, you can retreat. You'll lose however many cubes are up at the top, based on, you know, if both of you snapped, or if just you snapped, or if neither person snapped.
Mhm.
So if it's a game where you feel like you're not doing well, and somebody walks into your job, or whatever you're doing, your person, you come up in line or something, you can just quickly retreat, and you only lose 1 cube. You get some
Oh.
boosters for a random card in your deck, and you can, you know, queue up in a new match later. So it doesn't
That's
hurt
cool.
you that much.
Yeah, but it's also cool because you can use that snap technique as like kind of a bluff in poker kind of thing, where
Mhm.
like you can use it at different times in the game, where like maybe like I like to do it. I have this one deck that you kind of don't really play cards for like the first 2 um, hands of the turn. So a lot of times people get a little cocky with it. So if I snap like right at the beginning, and then they're like, "Wait, he didn't play any cards," and then they'll snap, and then I'll come in and eat their lunch later. Um, so like that kind of stuff. It's kind of it adds another little dynamic of, and then also this is silly, but there's only like 5 emotes in the game. Well, there's also like little um, things, but there's
Some
this one
words,
that's like
yeah.
Spider-Man pointing to people, and then if you hit snap, it like says snap right underneath it. So I always like kind of goad people to snap with that thing, and I'm sure they get mad at me, but it's just funny little things like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Anyways,
and
it's a
Some
deep
cool
ass game.
cards.
It's really good.
yeah, a lot of stuff, and uh it's so much fun. There's so many different styles of deck. The archetypes are like move, discard, destroy. There's ongoing and on reveal, and the whole
Mhm.
object is to win 2 out of 3 lanes. You're
Yeah.
not chipping down from someone's health, you know, like you are in Runeterra or
Or
Hearthstone
magic or something.
or Magic. I always forget. I have not played the digital version of Magic. I've only ever played the actual
Yeah.
card game. And I always forget. It's like Arena. Is it
Magic Arena. Yeah, I wish it was better, to be honest. Magic is a great game, but the actual experience of playing it digitally is not amazing. I don't know.
But yeah, it's so many different cool characters. Probably a lot of characters you may not even know. Like I didn't know Silk existed
Mhm.
Yeah,
until this
Silk's
season.
super cool. I also looked that up afterwards. I was like, wow, cool.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's introducing me to characters that I never knew existed.
It's the
Leech
juggernaut.
was another one I didn't know about until later.
It's the
yeah.
It's the juggernaut bitch.
Dude, he is one of the best cards in the game.
He's so
period.
good. Yeah.
I've never had a good experience using Kang. I haven't really been able to make that work.
I hate Kang.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
have Kang. I have no plans on buying Kang. If he ever goes to Series 3, maybe. But I have no interest in Kang whatsoever. I am so annoyed when I do my turn 5 or turn 6 play, and then they just dropped Kang. Now it's like,
Yep.
okay, do I just do the same thing because I'm confident in it, or do I change it up a little bit so that they don't know what I'm doing, or do I don't know, but it's so
Yeah, I
annoying.
feel you.
I hate it.
Yeah, and then the Galactus meta has been tough too, and especially in Conquest, I've been running into now a lot of Galactuses. And the thing is that I've tried. I haven't really dialed my Galactus deck in yet because I know I always get that kind of like Galactus to null like play. But the thing is that's weird is in Conquest, and I don't know, maybe this is other times too. But what I was trying to do is I was trying to use who's the chick who makes Limbo happen? Is it Magic?
Magic, yeah.
Yeah. But I realized that if you use Limbo, if you get that turn 7, but then you hit the Galactus, it seems to like cancel that out.
If you drop Galactus not on Limbo,
Exactly.
then it destroys Limbo, making it end on turn 6 instead of turn 7.
Yeah,
and
so
that's
that can
actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just
Oh
saying
no, I was
that's.
just gonna. Yeah, sorry. I'll go. I was
Delay,
just gonna say that in Conquest that can be kind of screwed because so many people already do strategies that take up a lane or something like that. You know what I mean? So I've just been getting screwed that way, and it hasn't been working for me.
Yeah, that rings true whenever you are using any card that disrupts Limbo. So Scarlet Witch, Storm, Rhino, or Magic all disrupt Limbo if they're played on Limbo, and then another one being Galactus if he's dropped off of Limbo.
And Limbo is one of those lanes you're talking about. So we're actually looking at gameplay footage right now. Just picked some random one. The lanes are the 3 middle things, right? And they flip them over one by one.
Yeah.
And
you don't know the
random effect.
You don't know the locations until they flip them over, right? Like even at the very first turn, they're all completely flipped over, so you don't know what it is. And so both of you guys have to play one card on the first thing, and then it flips over and progresses through, correct? Until you run out of cards?
Well, the first one will always flip over before you play. The first round.
I see, yeah.
But they are all dark at the very start.
Just for the people who have never played this game.
There is a card, the Watcher, who will show you both other locations, at least one other. I forget.
As long as Yatu is in your hand, he will show you the 2 unrevealed locations.
Yeah, there you go. So so there's like ways to go around that, but he's not really that worth it most of the time. I wouldn't think so.
Nah, I mean, honestly, there's only a few locations that are not good to drop cards on. The biggest one being not Bar Sinister, but oh my gosh, wait, is it Bar Sinister?
Is that the one that duplicates your whole?
No, Sinister London is the one that duplicates character to each side. Bar Sinister, yeah, I think that's the one that duplicates 4 into that location.
Yeah, makes copies.
Man, so what's the one? I can't remember what it is right now.
Is it Machine World, the one that gives a copy of your card to the other person?
The one where whoever has more power.
There's a lot of locations.
Oh yeah, fuck, what is that one called? Oh, that's another bar.
It's another bar. It sucks because there's Luke's bar, Bar Sinister, Sinister London. Because it doesn't necessarily have a bar, but it has a similar name.
It can get confusing.
And there's that one, Note Bar something.
I forget.
I'm pretty sure it's the bar that Wolverine goes to in the Insomniac trailer.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll get off the Marvel Snap topic because we're going a little long on it. But
I'm so sorry. I could talk about it forever.
I wanted this because I have not had anyone else to nerd out about it.
Real quick, Conquest takes too long. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
It's in the title of the episode.
That Conquest matches take so long.
No, I agree. It's definitely like you have to sit down for a little while to be like, all right, I'm gonna do some Conquest. But I did before we got off this topic. I just wanted to ask you, like, what are your give me 2 or 3 of your decks that are your go-tos.
I actually don't really have a go-to right now. I'm in kind of a weird place. I think if you're looking to just start the game, I think a zoo deck is probably one of your best options. Something with Blue Marvel, with Khazar, some heftier cards in there, America Chavez, things like that, and then a bunch of 1-cost cards to just buff those up and really take over the board. I mean, that's still a fantastic way if you're early on to get super high, super far, super quickly. If you're deeper into the game, High Evolutionary Lockdown and High Evolutionary Jane Jaw are probably 2 of the most incredible decks in the game right now. And then if you want something that has a little bit higher of a skill cap, then I would say do something with Bounce. Whether it's just a standard Bounce deck or you're running the newer like Spider Ham deck.
Yeah, the Spider Ham stuff has been kind of crazy. I haven't fully grasped onto it yet, but it's really cool.
Yeah, so there's a WWLOS or WLS, something like, I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but he's a really good tournament competitive player, and he is actually the reason I first got to Infinite. He made a deck in just a the Wave, when Wave was still able to play more than one card, you could drop like She-Hulk and Doom in the final turn, and it was just kind of a good cards deck. And that was the first deck that I took to Infinite. So I've been following him for a while now. But he just came out with a very mean bounce deck that includes Spider-Ham, Elektra, and Iceman. And it is nasty because you have a lot of people using Nebula, you have a lot of people using Sunspot, and you have a lot of people that want to play cards. And Spider-Ham erases a lot of those. If you're running Doom, all of a sudden your Doom goes from being a 6/5 that puts 2 other 6/5s into the other location to just a 6/5, which is garbage. Considering there's a card that's a 1/5, and by 1/5 I mean it's 1 cost for 5 power. And then there's so many crazy, and of course Iceman adds 1 power or 1 energy to the cost of any card under 6, which is insane. Here's a general bounce list. So you have Hitmonkey for your end game, Mysterio to help boost your Hitmonkey, Bishop to be boosted by all the cards that you're going to play, Beast to bounce your cards back into your hand and make them cost less for the final turn, Shang-Chi to kill anything that's over 9 power in a lane, so you can hopefully take down a lane. Some great tech in the bounce deck. The only problem is that it's not super easy to play.
Yeah, it's a little. You gotta know your shit a little bit.
Wow.
Crazy. Anyways, guys, that was our Marvel Snap segment / live new, but I'll pass it on to you two and we'll get out of it. But it's good to nerd out on that with you, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for letting me just run my mouth about it for a while. It's always fun.
Neon Pocket Dimension is all about nerding out, and this is exactly why you're on the show. So thank you very much for that. That was
Thank you.
That was insane. I'm gonna have to rewatch this footage at slow. Like I'm gonna slow it down half speed, and then I'll try to absorb as much as I can and jump right back in. Miguel, why don't we have you go next, man? What you been nerding out on?
I've been nerding out on some outdoorsy stuff, I guess you could say. I went to Death Valley on Saturday because it was a new moon, and went down to Badwater Basin, took some lawn chairs, hung out on the salt flats. It was hot as fuck.
I'm sure,
but it was. We actually didn't expect it to be as hot as it was. It was, I think, 100 degrees, but in the middle of the night. Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And it was windy. So, but the skies were clear, the stars were out. It was pretty cool. We drank some beers, we hung out.
Tight.
We drove home. I was there. I didn't get home till like 5 in the morning. It's definitely worth the trip. I want to do it again, but not in the summer.
I don't know what this is a picture of, but it looks weird.
So that's just salt.
This is salt?
Strands of salt.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was like cotton or something.
Yeah, keep
it's
going.
more like crystalline.
Yeah, it's all salt and shit.
Did you try licking it?
No, plus you got people walk all over it and shit. You don't want to lick that shit, dude.
I'm sorry. It was a bad joke.
It's like snow.
It was just a joke.
Yeah.
Just
no, it's a good time.
Just a
joke. And then today I went to the Nevada test site. So the Department of Energy does tours that you can. It's kind of like a lottery type system. So this tour I went on, I actually scheduled October of last year.
Damn.
And that's the Dan Crater. I got to go there. That was pretty fucking awesome. But they drive you around, they pick you up. It's 100% completely free. Yeah, that's an old bank vault that's sitting out there that they created to see what would happen to a bank vault money inside of it.
Wow.
When they dropped a bomb on it. And apparently the American money was fine. Like the dollar bills, nothing happened to them. I guess there were silver coins in the vault. Those tarnished a little bit. Gold coins were fine. They had foreign money in there that apparently when they picked it up, it just kind of crumbled.
Whoa.
It just like fell apart.
Cheap or medium.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool to see. Sedan Crater is really cool. It was an interesting concept that they were trying to do. They were trying to use nuclear weapons as like a means for like public works projects.
Whoa.
To move large amounts of dirt.
Oh God.
And
Yeah, just ruin the landscape around it for
they
50 years.
figured. I think the idea was there wasn't going to be much radiation.
Hmm.
If they buried it so deep. So this crater they buried, I think it was
I see.
652 feet. It's the world's largest man-made crater in North America.
Wow.
Well,
I think it's either the world's largest or it's the largest in North America. I don't remember. But it moved 12 million tons of dirt
damn.
in the one explosion.
Wow.
But apparently it was extremely radioactive around the lip. And right as we're getting out, she said that, the tour guide said that, someone goes, "You mean where we're going right now?"
Ah.
Because we got to go to the lip and look down. And
I'm sure
it
it's a
wasn't
tactic she uses.
apparently it's not radioactive anymore, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll find out.
No one had any Geiger counters out there with you,
No.
I suppose.
You're not allowed to bring one, apparently.
You ever heard of that game Half-Life, dude?
Yeah, I know Half-Life.
Yeah,
Got
it's a scientific term
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
radioactivity. Sorry, continue.
just the term
Just, yeah.
I thought you were just saying, hey, you just halved your life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Continue.
So
Excellent.
that was really cool. We got to go out to the Apple One house, or I'm sorry, the Apple II house, which I'm sure you heard of.
There you go.
There you go, right there.
Yep.
I'm not sure if everyone saw Crystal Skull or not, but the beginning of that movie essentially uses footage from that, from those tests, and that's one of the houses they built. You can't go to the other house that's a little further down because the road's all fucked up. But apparently when they did the test, they filled it with furniture. It had glass. It was a normal American home. It was painted. And apparently all the furniture and the mannequins came from a JCPenney.
Oh, wow.
Random.
That no longer exists. Apparently it was on Fremont and Las Vegas Boulevard. There was a JCPenney there at one point. And it's pretty cool to go out there and see it. Like, to think that down the street for me, or down the road a little bit, they were setting off these bombs, and this house is still there. Like, it was really fucking crazy to see. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to go into the home. They do take pictures of you when you're on the tour, but it's large group photos of the entire tour group, and then they have to get declassified before they actually send them to you. So I have yet to see how the photos came out.
Whoa, that's interesting.
That's awesome.
And that's why you're not allowed to take a cell phone, because they don't want you taking pictures.
Wait.
Yep.
What does declassifying mean?
So they have to make sure that there's nothing in the photo that's still classified.
That's crazy.
So apparently, back when I guess smartphones were becoming popular, people would go on the tours and take photos, and then they were showing them to people, and the people would be like, "Why is that in a picture? You're not supposed to. No one's supposed to see that.
That's classified."
Whoa.
It's still classified." So there's a lot of
it's still a military base or military zone.
yeah, it's still a government facility,
Right.
run by the DOE. So.
I just didn't realize like that if you could publicly go there, they would still need to declassify something.
Right? You would think that you wouldn't, but apparently
It's like, what am I looking at right now that could be classified?
And that's the thing.
Everything.
I think there are still things out there that we might not know are classified. We see them, we don't think anything of them, and we go on our way. Whereas those people looking at it go, "That's not supposed to. You're not supposed to be showing."
You know what though? That new Photoshop AI technology probably helps them declassify those photos a lot quicker. They just highlight it and go, "Put sand here," and then
yeah, exactly.
Yep. Easy.
Not that I love AI, but that's
down in
really interesting.
Flat, there's a old railroad trellis where they did three tests, and there's only one left up. But I have never seen steel beams bent in such a fashion.
Wow.
Crazy.
Steel beams were bent in from the explosions.
Oh wow!
Did you look up the word trellis, Jacob?
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to look that up really quick.
Good on you.
But
You're learning.
But no, it was some really cool stuff. If you're ever in Vegas and you plan ahead, I highly recommend it. It's free. They pick you up at the Atomic Testing Museum, and then they drive you up there. You go to Mercury, which you can't go to unless you're either working there or you're visiting.
Mm-hmm.
This is a small town. For whatever reason, I assumed it was going to be like a small town. There'd be like a main street and shit. It's not like that. It's very, very practical. But it looks like you're stepping back into the 50s. The cafeteria that you go into, it's still decorated in that kind of fashion. Everything looks old. I don't know if it is old or not. Clearly, the building is. They have a steakhouse there, which I think is really interesting. It's a cafeteria / steakhouse, and you go into the steakhouse. It was closed, but you could see in. It almost just looks like a conference room, which is really like, it was just really odd to see, because I'm like, this does not look like a steakhouse, but I guess it kind of does.
Trippy.
So there's a lot of really cool stuff there. They still have the benches out there where the VIPs would sit and watch them detonate the nuclear weapons.
Nye
So-
County.
So it's different from Los Alamos, right? Which is in New Mexico, I guess.
Yes.
That was the place where they built for the Manhattan Project specifically, but not the testing zone, right?
Yeah,
Is that-
correct. And as far as I know, Los Alamos and I think the other one's called Livermore, they still
Mhm.
work out at the test site. So they're still conducting tests of various other things, obviously not nuclear weapons at this point, because the reason they stopped testing was, I guess, Bush signed a treaty saying that we would no longer test nukes. So they haven't.
Yeah, there's been a few iterations of that over the years.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite president, George
After
Bush.
the
First Bush.
after the Castle
Everyone's.
Bravo test that like almost vaporized like half of Northern Europe. they were like, okay, maybe we should figure out some regulations on testing these things.
Well, in Japan, in particular,
Yeah.
ravaged, horrible, horrifying stuff.
Well, I mean, all the testing was after Japan, though, Jacob.
That's what I was saying. This is actually during the Cold War, when it was during the all that stuff.
I guess they tested 927.
Mhm.
And there's like, and it's crazy to see the craters, how many craters are out there. You're just driving around and like, that was one, and they're all like really next to each other. But I'm sure there was a plethora of other things out there. I guess I wasn't far from Area 51, which is like down the road from where I was at. I don't know if you can get there by
Wow.
car or not, but really cool stuff out there. Like, definitely worth your time, in my opinion.
So cool.
Cool, the trippy desert, man. The trippy,
Yeah.
trippy, weird stuff of American history. I like it.
I will say Las Vegas has a plethora of that.
Yeah,
I still need to go to Rachel. I haven't been there yet. That's
dude.
been on the list for a while.
Yeah, Joy and I are planning the Area 51 loop to come back. Go a full day trip. I think it's 4 hours total.
Yeah.
Let's go up there and back from Vegas. See the black mailbox. Go to the little alien. All that
Yep.
fun stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a long time.
cool as hell.
But that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Nice.
I watched a little bit of Nora from Queens.
Oh.
Season 3, which is pretty funny.
Good ass
I like
show.
The Days, I still haven't finished The Days yet.
The days.
That's the show about Fukushima.
Oh, whew.
It's a good show.
Nice.
What else have I been doing? Oh, and I'm going to buy a PS5 this week. So
Yeah, my boy.
Congrats.
I mean,
awesome.
does it come out on Thursday? 16?
not this week. I don't know if I'm buying that right away, but yes, I will be buying that.
I think well, you're gonna get the version that has God of War Ragnarok bundled in, right?
Yeah. Currently, what is on sale, friend?
Yep.
And it comes with an extra controller and a charging deck.
That's the version I got. Cool.
On deck.
Hell yeah.
Bunch of fucking nerds in this on this podcast today. I love you guys. What have I been nerding out on? All the games that everyone's been nerding out on. Diablo 4. Played a ton of that this weekend. Just got the mount finally. I think you have to be like level 43, so I'm like 44, I believe, on my Necromancer. I'm rocking a bone crit CC. Still toying with the minions build. So I'm just critting like crazy. I'm just melting enemy groups. It's a lot of fun.
I have some questions about Diablo 4.
Mhm.
My first question is my brother-in-law has been like super deep into it, and he is playing a necromancer.
Yes.
he is he's like in the 60s.
Whoa.
And have you gotten past 50 yet?
Yeah, no, I just hit 50, just hit 44. That's as far as
44.
I got.
So
Yep.
so I won't say anything to that, like what happens after 50 then.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting about this game is that it's entirely contained from what I understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not like in old school Diablo, there's like chapters, and each chapter like kind of got harder as you went on. Chapter 1
Mm-hmm.
was the easiest, chapter 2 got like exponentially harder, chapter 3, chapter 4,
Yeah.
chapter 5. And you could replay these as you beat them on the harder difficulties
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. But like this game is completely self-contained. Like you can play through the entire story without like changing, like, or I mean, without like needing to worry about the chapters that you're beating and everything like that.
Yeah. So with level scaling and everything, the game just feels essentially like, I wouldn't say the same. I mean, difficulty does go up as you go, just with the enemy types themselves, not so much like level, or I would say like enemy density. I'm sure it does increase slowly over time a bit here and there. Mostly I'd say it's like the enemy types, but with level scaling, like the more tools you get, the more you feel like you can handle more stuff. But for the most part, what's really getting harder is the bosses until you actually do beat the game itself and get to the end game stuff with nightmare dungeons and all the weird modifiers that go into that, as well as just post game quest stuff, I guess, essentially.
So the reason I bring it up is I wonder the long-term like grind for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the older games you could, if you wanted to try out a monk in 3, you could join up with your friend who was level whatever and have them take you through hell. I can't remember the difficulty titles, but you could go to the highest difficulty and have them just power level you. And from the sound of it, you can't do that in this because of the way scaling works.
Right. But okay, so there's a caveat to that though. I mean, I'll just put it this way. I literally started level 1. I played the betas, so I'd already run through the beginning parts up until Lorath walks away on a horse. No spoilers really. He walks away on a horse, and then it puts you in the game world with like all the rest of the people in town. And then it starts to kind of feel MMO-y. But before that point, you can group up with a friend. And so my buddy, who was like already 60-something, was like, oh, no, I'll just jump in. Shout out to the homie Alex. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll jump in. I'll run you through, right? So, like, even though I'm level 1 and it's scaling to me, I don't have skills. I don't have a skill tree with a lot of abilities. So it's scaling, but the abilities and the skills you're getting, like, for instance, now with my Necromancer, I'm critting like crazy. I could just mow down waves. Like, even if I jumped into your game as a newcomer, we would get you through that beginning part really quick. And that's exactly what Alex did. Like, we skipped all the cinematics, seen them all, skipped every single dialogue thing I absolutely could. We got through that beginning part in like an hour, which took me like 3 or 4 the original time I played it. So there is a level of that, but it's not the same.
Do you think you'll only play like 1 or 2 different classes?
No way. Because there's also the other level or the other aspect of the game, which actually was in Diablo 3, I believe, where after you beat the story, every time you play another character, you could just opt out of a campaign and you could just jump right into the game world and just start knocking out quests. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, you can run through campaign to do it if you'd like, or you could skip campaign altogether and just get to like leveling your character up, which is what I'm going to do with my alts, essentially. I mean, I kind of skipped a couple things here and there because I was playing while also like chatting with people and watching stuff. So I might go through campaign like maybe one more time on another character, but like every other character I play, because I'm going to have them all. I'm going to have them all to level 100 at some point, including hardcore characters, because I'm crazy like that. It'll be fun because then I could just like, I'll just teleport wherever I want and just do whatever I want. They're also talking about, I watched the Diablo fireside chat, which was really cool on Twitch. I don't know if there's a VOD out there of that, but I think everyone should check that out if they're into Diablo, because it was really cool and like casual to see them like talking to the chat and everything. They were talking about like even between your characters, keeping the mini map progress between characters. So like you go onto your alt and then you have the whole map. Or you go into your alt, you've already captured all those altars of Lilith or whatever to give you like the permanent stat bonuses and stuff like that. So to me, it seems like rolling up alts in this game will be cool, and jumping in and helping your buddies who are lower level than you. I think there's something there where you can kind of help them speed through. Not to mention every time I don't know if it's grouped, but definitely if you're in the vicinity of another player, you get like a 25% bonus to your experience as well. So like
that's cool.
Yeah, so you can't do like you can't
Sherpa credit.
Yeah, you can't like fully cheese it like you could in old Diablo games where you're like, oh, just like party up with me, and then you'll just stand there while I like clear waves in a nightmare dungeon, and you'll just level up, right? Instead, it's like, okay, let's play together. You know, you run through your campaign progress, I'll be in your party, but we'll do it together, and then I'll be able to use my crazy abilities, which you're not even, you know, you're still getting through the tree.
I'm just a baby.
And it should be easier that way. So yeah, and grouping is really fun. It's actually really simple. You town portal back to the town. Whoever you're grouped with will now have a town portal of their own. So wherever they're at, you could just step into their portal. You're right where they're at. That was actually how I was able to engage in like a massive group event. There was a part in the map, I think it was in the dry steppes, where I just started. I think it was like level 12. And I was like, oh, that event's starting. And my friend Alex is like, oh, I'll just go there and you could teleport to me. And even though I was level 12 and everybody's like level 60 something, I still jumped in and I still got gear and loot and stuff. So it's really engaging if you have friends. And shout outs to anyone who wants to squad up with me, you know, just saying.
I'll get to that game eventually, but I have some other big projects going on right now, and I knew that if I bought it, it would distract me too much from the things that I also want to finish, like you were getting to Zelda, I believe, at some point.
Yes, that's my next game. I've been playing a lot of Zelda to the point where, like, look, I love the Switch. Y'all know I have problems with the Switch's performance. It's old, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The game is still fucking amazing. It's so goddamn good, dude. And it's so easy to just pick up my Switch and, like, lay on the couch. Joy's watching cool shit on the TV, whatever. I'm like watching that, but also like running through a dungeon or something on the game. But man, it's just so good. It goes on and on and on. The fact that they've taken Hyrule and given it multiple tiers now is also amazing.
Tiers?
Right. Not tears. The ripping and the tearing. That's for you, Miguel. I'm waiting for your soundboard. Let's hear it. Come on.
The ripping and the tearing. The ripping and the tearing.
There you go. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like even exploring like the deep, dark depths is crazy. It is dark. It's dark as fuck. I like how they kind of separate it a little bit, so you have to kind of jump in the chasms to kind of see it all, which I find really interesting. The side quests, there's a lot of big side quest chains that are kind of fun to engage with, but then I forget what parts of it I did, you know what I mean? So like, here's a little tip for you, not a spoiler, but a little tip for you. If you're playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the world is dynamic, right? So there may be maps of shit just laying in the environment where you can just take an in-game screenshot by pressing that little circular button at the bottom left of your Switch, right? To just take a screenshot. That could be a map showing you all the locations of all of the things related to the place you're at. That's just a little clue for you. I use that to find all the little tier things. I use that to find every single one of the, what do you call them? The stables, you know? So I just really like the game design in this game is just fucking legendary in ways.
Impeccable, yeah.
The assets, like, okay, we were just talking about reused assets earlier. This game isn't really using a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of really unique assets in there, like that. Like I said, just like a physical map of something that you could just be like, oh, that's just a map on a wall. You walk past it in every game you play. But then games like even Fallout 76 does this. When you go to one of the railroad places, there is a map with dots on the wall, like dots of spots in the map. You could like physically go to those spots, click on them, and it puts the marker on your physical map in the game. Like little details like that are amazing. And in this game, you just have a map. You take a picture of it, you have the map, and then you're going between your gallery and the game itself and figuring things out.
I do it for
really cool
recipes
shit.
too. There's like at the stables, there's little recipe things, and I'm like, oh, cool. This is how you make that. Yeah.
So I'm just loving the fine details of the game. I'm just really nerding out over like how creative I can be. I love being creative in any game I could play. A game where I could build or, you know, slap things together like in Zelda. It's a lot of fun to experiment. But man, some people online are doing some crazy shit, man. I saw this one as like a sea dragon. They made a sea dragon where it was like one flipper would do this and the other flipper would do this. And you could tell it's like the sleds, but sideways. But like, how do they wire it to like do it at different times? Crazy. I saw someone make a 1-bit calculator with mirrors and lights. I mean, it's like
damn.
It's like with Minecraft, how people are building like really insane machines, just utilizing the little pieces and parts, all the, you know, in this game, Zonai devices combined with other little things you could put together. It's just so good. And then it's still on top of all this shit. It's still just Zelda Breath of the Wild, which already is a great game with fun combat, you know, and I'm that like, it's just like riding a bike, dude. Like I can enter any fight and just be like, yeah, I know how to counter. Yeah, I remember I could do the backflip here, whatever, you know? So really, really enjoying that. And then I'll say Gundam update, but not Gundam update, just so y'all can throw the emotes in the chat there. Gundam update. I started watching One Piece. That's right, everyone.
Yo.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe I just need to make it like an overall anime update pretty soon.
I've begun the journey. Miguel is like,
no,
bad idea.
No, you can't trounce on One Piece like that.
You made a post on Twitter the other day. You're like, I'm 8 episodes in. I'm like, bro, you're almost done. It's awesome.
No, I got to like episode 13. You know, but I'm enjoying it. I know I'm so early on, but it just feels like watching early DBZ episodes. And like, you guys know me, man. I watched all of every Gundam series, like even the really old ones. This one's still holding up even at like these earlier episodes. They feel kind of fillery, but you know, we're assembling the pirate squad. It's the very beginning, and I'll keep letting you guys know about that. Also, earlier you were talking about Final Fantasy, and you were also talking about mobile games, PJ. So I'll tell you, I've beaten Final Fantasy 3, 4, and 5 all on my phone, Pixel remasters, and I'm currently 45 hours into FF6 Pixel remaster on mobile. So those are also great mobile games. It plays amazing.
Yeah,
so,
I heard those ports are really good.
Yeah, they're incredible on mobile. I mean, you know, probably better on Steam, but on mobile, I mean, same idea, right? Like I could just jump in there, play a little bit. You could quick save. You don't have to wait for a save point. You know, I could leave it suspended, whatever, jump into it. Feel like there was something else too, but that's it.
I am 900 episodes into One Piece.
Damn.
But how many Gundam?
I wish that was a joke.
How many Gundam episodes have you seen though?
Probably like.
Damn it,
Probably
Miguel.
like. Let's see. God, I'd have to say like a sixth of that.
Okay.
Right. Like I've watched old school Gundam. And
Amudo.
then, I watched, you know, obviously like when the Toonami and stuff got really big, we had
Wing.
that era of Gundam Wing, exactly.
Yep.
Just I've been really digging the new series.
Oh god,
Witch from
so
Mercury
good.
or whatever.
Yeah, Witch from Mercury.
Very
is
fucking
insane.
good. Yeah. Like
Animation is incredible.
I think I'm on episode 18 of that right now, or 17 or something like that. So I'm getting into that. It's just harder to watch subbed because, you know, I have to like sit down and read the whole time. So yeah, I'm just getting through that a little slower. But
yeah, I get that. It's really something you have to like sit down and pay attention to,
right?
Instead of just kind of like that's the great thing about One Piece is you can just kind of have it on in the background, and when there's an intense fight, you can watch and see what's going on and see what they're doing. But if they're just kind of talking or, you know, whatever,
doing
you
wacky
can just kind of listen to it.
Doing weird, stretchy, wacky shit, or like, You know, there's I'm on the episode with Usopp or whatever, that guy.
Yeah.
Just barely, meeting that lighter man with the long Pinocchio nose.
Wait, is Usopp only 80 episodes in?
8.
That's crazy.
12. I'm on episode 12.
Okay.
12. 1, 2.
I was confused there for a second. I thought you said 80 earlier.
Oh no.
And I was
No,
like,
no.
God, is Usopp that far into the series? It's
12.
been a while, okay? It's been a while since I've seen the beginning.
Hey, to be fair, I've watched a lot of shows, including every episode of like Black Clover and Dragon Ball Z and all of Dragon Ball Super, and I've watched a lot of anime. You know,
I mean, I watched all of Naruto. That's no easy feat.
That's
There's
a
like
lot,
7.
too.
There's like, I mean, I skipped a bunch
Miguel.
of the filler
Okay.
stuff.
Miguel, do you just not like anime? Is that what's going
I
on?
like
Unless
anime,
it's called
I don't
Cobra Kai.
I don't like shonen shows.
Yeah, he's not into
shonen
shonen.
guy.
Shows are just no, thank you. I've got better things to do.
He doesn't.
I completely
They
understand
take too
that.
long. There's way too much filler.
What about Food Wars?
They never fucking end.
2
What
thumbs
about
up.
Food Wars, though.
Great fucking show. You should watch that shit, Miguel. Miguel he's not into tournament arcs, just like the homie Frankfurter. He hates tournament arcs so much.
Fucking annoying.
I don't get it. I love a tournament arc. Give it to me.
Move on. Give me a show that's concise, to the point.
Mhm.
4 seasons at most. And then
Have you ever seen? Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Astra.
Astra.
Oh my
Astra.
god.
Anime. Let's see.
Um,
Astra Lost in Space?
Yes, Astra Lost in Space.
No.
when did that come out?
2019.
It was not too long ago.
2019.
That's what
Yep.
I'll say. I have not like engaged with the anime the way I used to since maybe 2012.
Mm.
I kind of fell off. I was huge into anime in the late 90s, early 2000s. Up to
Mhm.
about. So when people start naming shows now, like I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I just don't follow it. I kind of fell off of manga the same way as well.
Yeah.
Astra Lost in Space is only like, I don't even know, 8 to 12 episodes, somewhere on there, I feel like.
Mhm.
And that's
And-
a show that I feel like I can engage with, and then like the last real anime I watched was Tatami Galaxy. I don't know if anyone had or even
That's
heard
on
of
my
it.
list.
It's very good.
Nice.
I really like that show quite a bit,
Yeah.
and that's like 12 episodes, I think, at most.
Yeah. Astra Lost in Space is 12 episodes. Also, oh my god, the one, the magical girl twisted one. Fuck. It's like Megami Tensei something. Fuck. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's not that.
It's definitely not that.
It's like Maga Mugu Migi Mugu. It's got like a weird name like that. Anyway, I'll look it up. It's a really good one.
That one.
It's like a
If you
fucked
ever
up.
want to nerd out about Shin Megami Tensei, though, like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's
I
my,
can show you my collection. I have
Ooh.
literally every single Shin Megami Tensei game from PS2 to now, pretty much.
nice.
I don't have
Hell
some of the
yeah.
older stuff because I didn't get into it until the Digital Devil Saga era. But
It's called Puella Magi Madoko Magica.
Wow.
that's a
I
name.
wasn't far
Wow.
off. See, I recommend that show to everyone. It's very fucking good. Only like 10, 12 episodes.
Will you drop that? Will you drop that in the Anime and Manga Center channel?
Yes,
I
sir.
remember later.
Yes, sir. I
Cool.
think it's on like it's on everything. It's like Hulu as well, like Netflix, I believe.
Heard of that one. I haven't seen it though.
Really fucking good. It's like a fucked up. I'm sorry, what?
TV has gotten so good.
I know. God,
So many shows that aren't anime at this point that are good
too many.
that I've been kind of watching those. And not to say that I don't want to get back into anime. I've thought about it. It's just one of those things where it's just like,
It's media overload at this point.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
nuts.
Like, you
Video
have to pick-
games, yeah.
want to spend your time.
Right.
So, and like those shonen shows to me, like,
Oh, it's a lot.
do it. It's, and I tell Jacob this, like, personally, is like, I don't feel like he's actually watching these shows.
Oh, I am. Trust me.
Them in the background and you listen.
No,
and
no.
you're-
I am watching and working. I look down, I look up. I look down, I look up, like all fucking day.
You're still working is my point.
I'm
'Cause I have
doing
a
both. I'm doing
podcast.
both.
Because I actually want to pay attention to the podcast.
I can work and listen to a podcast, and when I can't, then I turn it
I
off.
can do that.
Sometimes you can't do both, man.
This is for
Multitasking is a fallacy.
this is
I'll
for
tell
you.
you what.
This is for you, Miguel.
I cannot for the life of me play Marvel Snap and watch something at the same time. I can't do
That's
it.
really engaging. Yeah.
That is true. I was doing that the other night. We were watching, I think it was Ted Lasso or something, and I was just like, I just kept like being like, I just like turn this off and play Snap.
It's a bad idea. You're gonna end up losing your game because you're
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
paying too much attention to the show or not enough.
So that's just how I feel about shows. So if I'm gonna watch something that I actually have to pay attention to, then I actually want to pay attention to it.
Totally.
It's just one of those.
One more anime recommendation for you guys, and then we're done with all this anime shit. All right, Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone.
It's another
Watch
shonen.
Dr. Stone. No, it's not a fight anime. It's just Bill Nye
I
the
know,
Science
but
Guy.
It's still a shonen.
It's Bill Nye the Science Guy in anime form, essentially. It's really cool. You get to learn science stuff.
Good, thank you. I appreciate it.
Watch
Nice.
it.
Hell yeah.
Watch it.
The only thing
Um,
anyone should ever do is read Berserk. That's all you gotta do.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude. Same. I
I'm
need to.
loving my read through of Berserk. It is so fucking rad. God damn.
I bought the first volume for
Are you
the
past
homie.
the golden arc yet?
I'm not like hip to the jive. Is that?
So
I don't
chances
know.
are no.
I'm only 2 of the big volumes in so far.
Okay, you're
Um,
nowhere. You're nowhere close yet. Okay,
I don't think I'm anywhere.
you're still
close.
in the
I feel
golden
like-
arc then. You're still in the golden arc.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, that's enough
well,
anime.
Guys, I think we're gonna call this a Whoops All Vibe New episode. I think because instead of getting into a new topic this late in the game, I just want to
Yeah.
spend the rest of the time we have getting to know Phillip just a little bit more, and I want you to be able to talk
Yeah.
about your cool projects because we've got similar.
I can
Similar
always come
interests and-
back. You know.
And,
Hey.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think even we might end up having an in-person podcast at some point. We could even do that.
That's true.
Ooh, okay, dude. You have you guys over there, and you have Miguel come over here, and we just have 2 bars,
2 large
big ass
I'm down, dude.
camera
know when-
with bars.
But I want to give you a chance to kind of plug and just talk about your Simply Sassy stuff, and I have some questions for you too.
man.
But tell us about its origins and kind of where it's come from, because I've seen things from the Not KFAF challenge to I watched your top 10 birds podcast the other day.
Oh,
That was very
Dude, I saw that. I saw that shit when I was looking at your channel, and I was like, "Is this really about birds?"
Oh yeah, it is.
bodacious
That's
birds.
amazing.
I think it says.
He's like Usador.
It
likes
is like
birds.
Usador.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, give us the rundown, and then I really want to talk about the Out of Our League series because that shit's insane that you got all those people.
Yeah. So right there, actually, if you scroll down just a little bit there, that's Rahul Kohli from
Oh yeah.
Midnight Mass and
Yes.
a bunch of other stuff. But right there in the middle, you've got Young Ya from the beautiful Young Ya YouTube channel, and Ryan Colt Levy, the voice of Chainsaw Man's lead character.
Oh.
Yep.
Is it Remy from? No, that's not right. The recent My Hero Academia movie that came out, he plays the titular side character in that. But
Awesome.
anyway, so back in 2019, Kind of Funny started a show called KFAF, and in that show they did a Photoshop challenge. And being a Kind of Funny fan, my boss is actually a Kind of Funny best friend as well. He's
wow.
actually the one who got me into Kind of Funny. And so I started watching the show, and he was like, "Hey, you're really good at art and stuff. You should do this Photoshop challenge." So we
Nice.
started doing and participating in the challenge. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a couple entry shows on there where both my boss and I got featured in episodes. Both of them were me.
Oh shit.
That's hilarious.
Just submit them under my boss's name.
Oh, wow.
Because it was, now to be fair, it was his ideas. I just brought them to life.
That's awesome.
But
Collab. It's a collab.
anyway, that's how I met Ben. Please Be Excited. That's how I
Ooh.
met Matt Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I met the other Gage.
Which is weird to me, by the way. There's like no other Gages. I've met like 3 in my lifetime, and the fact that there's one who's like a kind of funny best friend who's on a podcast with someone I know from Humboldt County is so strange to me.
Right.
Yeah.
The machinations of life.
Yeah.
Wild times.
But anyway, yeah. So we kind of started to talk and we were sharing photoshops with each other and like trying to make them better for each one. Oh, is this a good joke? Is that a good joke? And then when 2020 happened, we, got together. We started gaming and got together in a group. And one day, one of our friends, Al the Predator Tribesman, and Ben, Please Be Excited, had this idea of making a joke video about none other than Nick Scarpino and his basketball career.
Here it comes.
So we did The Last Chance instead of The Last Dance, which I think is that Michael Jordan documentary.
Jesus Christ. Gage just sent me these ridiculous photos. I'll pull them up right now. Continue.
Okay. So we edited together this video with a mixture of kind of funny footage. Yeah, that's some Ben Please Be Excited stuff, I bet.
No, that's mine.
That's his.
That's
yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
that was a
that's
Gage.
fantastic.
This is Gage.
That was one of my only ones that really got true recognition. And that.
Oh, that's
the
beautiful.
Yeah.
Save the trees.
It was so
Quayle.
good. I thought it was as one of Ben's.
That's Kevin, right?
Ben's top tier. So yeah.
But Ben was always the one to beat for sure.
This
And
one.
then this is my other one, The Last
is
Supper,
too fucking funny.
with Nick, and then there's Greg Miller. We got Kevin in there.
There's
Tim.
everybody in there.
Is this
Yeah.
fucking Mike right
That
here?
way.
Is that Snowbike Mike?
That's Barrett Courtney.
Oh.
And then we have Max Scoville, Fran Mirabella, Andrea, and then
Oh my god.
Dude, the hair.
Bruce,
The hair's intact.
That's hilarious.
look, there's a connect between what is it? Connect
3
between
and
4.
5.
Oh,
4,
shit.
5, 3, 5. Yeah, I think it's
And the
something like
Diet
And then
Coke.
there's Diet Coke,
Diet Coke.
LaCroix.
Hell yeah.
There's Oreos everywhere and Nutter Butters.
Oh, dude, of course you have to put the LaCroix in front of LaCroix Poppy over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so
yeah,
good.
so go to Twitter real
my
quick, type
God.
in hashtag KFAF, and then go to the
Okay.
media tab and just kind of scroll through there, and you'll see some fun stuff.
Yeah, I love Ben.
yeah.
Ben, please be excited. Shows up in my timeline constantly, and I just always laugh at my desk.
Yeah, he's great. He's still doing the Photoshop thing over there, making amazing Photoshops of the kind of funny crew and other people. But yeah, so we made this video called The Last Chance, and it was a fake documentary of a mixture of things where we all did like a short video skit talking about as if we knew Nick and doing just,
like the Michael Jordan thing, right? Like
the last dance. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And we all worked together to do that, and we weren't sure how to end it, so I created this Solid Snake bit where essentially Solid Snake calls, because okay, this is a weird thing, but when I was gaming with Ben and some of the other guys, when I started to whisper, they would tell me that I kind of sounded like Solid Snake. So I was just trying to be quiet for my wife, so I didn't wake her up while we were gaming. But they started telling me that I sounded like Solid Snake, so we decided to make this joke where I actually did a bit as Solid Snake calling Nick Scarpino, and then you have that in the middle bit where we're doing that, and then at the very end to close it out, there's actually one of mine. Go, if you scroll back up one more. Yeah, that one right there.
This one right here?
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Damn.
That's amazing.
It's from a great anime called Yuri on Ice.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
2 men, ice skaters that fall in love.
Yeah.
But really great anime. But anyway, so to close it out, we did this bit with Solid Snake actually being Johnny Ace calling and messing with Nick Scarpino.
That's hilarious.
So it was a lot of fun, and
Craig.
Yeah, it was just an absolute blast to do.
Oh, fuck.
And then we were like, well, we've done this video now, so what do we do? Where do we go from here? What do we do from here? And that's when the not KFAF challenge started, where we wanted to take what was KFAF and keep it going. So we made the not KFAF challenge, which if you go to hashtag not KFAF, I think that'll come up with some of those entries. But yeah, so we did that to try and kind of keep the
Oh my god.
the emotions alive. And
What the fuck?
yeah. There you go.
God
Craig
damn it.
Miller looking like
Can't
Ronald
hang
McDonald.
down,
What
dude.
the fuck, dude? Oh man.
So yeah,
Wow.
and from there, we were like, well, what do we want to do? We want to interview cool people. Why don't we interview the kind of funny crew? So since they knew us from the community and doing some other stuff, we managed to get pretty much everybody on the show so far, except for Kevin. I think Kevin is one of the last people that because he's been so busy, we have not been able to interview him. But with the success of getting him on the show and all of that, we decided that we could maybe expand on that. And I just started reaching out to anyone and everyone I could. I made a Photoshop of you showed it earlier, but of Rahul Kohli as Reed Richards, and that's actually not the one I'm talking about. I did it a while ago just to try and see, like, oh man, I'd love to see Rahul Kohli as Reed Richards. I don't think anyone's ever thought of him for Reed Richards before, and I think he'd be great because I was watching iZombie at the time. I think I didn't even know he was like a kind of funny, like, best friend at the time. I just liked him from iZombie, and then a year later, around his birthday, I decided to do it again, and made this version, which takes the outfit from Deadpool, some custom assets that I made, and the Fantastic Four logo from the original, not the original, but like the mid 2000s Fantastic Four movies. And then I did some Photoshop work for the background and found a great picture for the lighting on his head that just looks very good.
Yeah.
And fit really well with the lighting in the Deadpool picture, and put that together as like a new version of it. And my favorite comment on that, by the way, is why does he have the little knives? And I was like, what if you're stretching through a vent and you need to protect yourself? Was my response to the person. And they were like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. But anyway, so I had made that, and that got ridiculous numbers. Like, it got put on a couple of different websites as like fan imaginings.
Oh yeah, it
what
went
Reed
everywhere.
Richards
It was
could look
seen from far and wide. For
I
sure.
knew
Huge.
I knew that it had gotten crazy because my wife was like, "Hey, didn't you make this?" And I was like, "Yeah, but where are you right now?" She's like, "On Facebook." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Whoa.
Whoa.
So I, knowing that she saw it randomly on her timeline, I was like, "Oh wow, this is crazy." So anyway,
that's awesome.
that allowed me to reach out to Rahul, or feel confident enough to reach out to Rahul and be like, "Hey, you know that Photoshop I made? Well, I also do a podcast where we interview people. Would you want to be on the show?" And that's how we got Rahul done. And Ryan Levy is actually a kind of funny best friend. That's how we got him on the show.
Cool.
And then he's friends with Yong. That's how we got Yong on the show.
There you go.
And then all the other people is just people that I asked. I was asking that if they wanted to be on the show, and it just goes to show, like, Mike Bithell was one that we reached out to.
Awesome.
And ended up talking to us twice. We did two interviews with him. And yeah, so it was just a matter of, I think, kind of luck with the fact that COVID was happening and people weren't as busy because they had to stay inside. So why not just get on a show? And it kind of opened up a few doors for us to be able to talk to all these cool people. But it also showed me that just putting yourself out there and reaching out can get you into a lot of doors that you may not have thought were available to you. Like, we had Naomi Kyle on the show.
Yeah, I saw that. That's wild.
And
Lucy
that
James?
was Yeah, Lucy James, and
Tam?
Tor, yep,
Damn.
and Jeff Grubb.
Oh, it's my boy.
And it's all from just reaching out to them and being like, hey, do you want to be on this interview show, this random little small YouTube channel interview show that we have,
You know,
to talk about you.
I made the bet with Jeff Grubb for shaving his head, so
You're a terrible person.
little crossover there.
His
It was
glorious locks are gone now.
it was his suggestion. I just said, "What are you gonna do if it doesn't happen?" And he said, "Shave my head." And then I saved that tweet for like a year.
That's funny. That's super funny.
But look at Big Jeff now running Giant Bomb at night and over there at SGF and everything. That was so
Goddamn
cool
legend.
to see.
He's a legend. So are you, Phillip.
There's always got to be a good Jeff to run Giant Bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Hell
Good
yeah.
point.
Yeah, well, that's so cool,
Shout
man.
out
I
to
mean,
Jeff Gerstmann.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, yes, shout out to Jeff Gerstmann.
I don't know how many people know Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
I doubt many of them have been following since the Ryan days. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Oh,
not.
But that was actually one of the coolest parts about this most recent SGF. I felt like that made it feel more like E3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That was probably like, if you don't know Giant Bomb, basically, they started back around 2008 because they got fed up with what was going on at GameSpot and decided to make their own company. And they were kind of some of the first pioneers into podcasting.
Yep.
But aside from all that, they had an E3 kind of like backroom party show that they used to do, where they would get interviews and hang out with some of the coolest people in the industry while they were all drinking. And it resulted in some really fun, really crazy conversations and interviews, and just some amazing content. If you ever have a chance to go back through some of their backlog, you should do it. That and their Game of the Year deliberations were always some of the coolest stuff to listen to.
Yeah, the top tens and everything, also really cool.
Epic.
And yeah, they always had such eclectic taste that you got to hear about games that maybe you hadn't heard of. I probably wouldn't even know what Inscription was if it weren't for listening to the Giant Bomb cast and hearing them talk about so highly about it. And then I went and played it for myself, and I was blown away by it.
Same thing with me with Waypoint. Like, I heard about all sorts of crazy games, indie titles they were obsessed with on Waypoint all the time, you know? So all the big
awesome.
podcasts and publications, you know, they're going to talk about all those games we all know about, all the big PlayStation games. Like, you know, Loop Hero, bro. That's a good
Exactly.
game. Vampire Survivors.
Exactly.
Let's hear about that.
Vampire Survivors, another Giant Bomb gem for me.
Yep. Totally.
That's right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well,
So what's next for Simply Sassy? How are you guys doing content now? It's been a little bit, right, since you guys have put anything out?
Yeah, so the last thing that we did was the Mike Bithell interview. That was literally all Gage. I was supposed to be on that one, but I was sick. As I said earlier on in the show, I've been going through some medical stuff. And I kind of we were renovating the house, and renovations kind of fell through, and it was really hard to get things back on track, but my office is getting there. So I wasn't streaming or doing anything computer related for a while. And then on top of that, I was having health issues. So I kind of fell off completely. And it's mostly Gage and myself now for Simply Sassy. You know, everyone's lives have kind of resumed. And so it's just kind of us that are there to continue. And we're trying to figure out what we want to do next, because we don't want to just let go of what we built at Simply Sassy. We want to keep it going. But there's I don't know, there's some things we need to figure out as far as what we want to do and where we want to go next, and we've definitely got some ideas. I know that Gage is working on some really fun stuff, and we're still reaching out to some people. Like, we really want to have oh my gosh, I'm just forgetting everybody's name tonight.
It's a late night.
Yeah. It's hard to remember anything.
Die Hard Man, the actor.
Oh yeah.
Tommy Earl Jenkins. There we go. We still want to have him on again. We had him on the show, and we got to talk about his theater background and working with Kojima and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
But we want to get him back on the show. I want to talk to him about his wonderful performance in Wednesday. If you haven't seen Wednesday, he plays the mayor in that show.
Great show.
I got some cool behind the scenes stuff I can't talk about from that, but it's really fun. He's such an amazing person.
Cool.
He's so cool. He's so easygoing and easy to talk to, and very open to being on shows and people talking to him. And he's just really fun to talk to. I want to get him back on the show again. But his schedule is very busy. He's got a lot of things going on. I don't know if you heard, he's in a new expansion for Elder Scrolls, the MMO. So
the Necron one, yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of things going on for him right now.
Well, that's cool,
there you
man.
go.
Well, you have to keep us posted, and we'll definitely give you the shout outs on the channel and all that kind of stuff. And
thank
you
you.
know, you
Heck
gotta
yes.
you gotta come back here if you're bored and you need someone to nerd out with. We're gonna, we're here on the weekly show, so we're here for you if you need it.
I don't know if you noticed, but I am very, I do not, my brain just keeps going. It is always losing its train of thought and going off on different tangents and different things. And I never know where I'm going or what I'm talking about half the time, but I love to talk. So,
Well,
Hell yeah, man.
you're in good company here because we're all the same way.
Hell yeah. Well, with that, we're gonna reach onto our final segments. We'll keep it short as we can. We're gonna endorse everybody.
Get endorsed, son.
Get endorsed. I don't have an emote for that yet, too, but I'll do that eventually.
Oh yeah, we need that.
But I will start with. Well, wait. Will I start with endorsements this week? I had something. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm
Did you
going
send
to
it to me?
endorse doing a meal plan.
Oh,
I'm adulting. I'm trying to do my best. Trying to have a better budget for buying food and be better about meal prepping and doing stuff like that. It's been kind of a good little activity. Aishu and I, my wife, went through and did like 10 or 12 different meals, and then I just kind of like went to the calendar and just like randomly put different meals on different days. And then at the beginning of the week, we like kind of look at the meals and like buy groceries just for that. And then I'll buy like specific groceries if they need to be fresh for it. But it's cool. And then Sunday we do like a big prep day if we can, especially with the kid and stuff. It's just been like good to have like a little bit more organization to it. So it's not just like, what the heck are we eating tonight? I have no idea. Let's just like rummage around in the pantry and eat junk food or whatever. So it's been better. Trying to just be a little healthier and save on the budget. So yeah, meal plans, good stuff.
Miguel,
Los Arcos Taco Shop.
Arcos,
Hell yeah.
Los Arcos.
Los Arcos.
Yeah, it's a birria taco shop.
Nice. Have you eaten there? I mean,
Yes, Jackie Chan.
No.
I don't know if you know who Jackie Chan
you
is, but
just like it.
yeah,
I'm
he's
trying-
fucking-
They have a
good.
website. Let's see. I'll pull it up. Whoa!
Los Arcos.
Holy shit, that's huge.
That's the right one, dude. Mm-mm.
Nice. Is it on your side of town?
That's the wrong one.
Oh, this isn't it?
No.
Oh. Okay. It's this one. It's
Yeah.
on Postmates.
Site.
There's no pictures. But check
No,
it out.
Go to Yelp. You got Yelp.
Yeah. Oh, Yelp. Okay. There you go. I always forget about Yelp. I don't know why. There you go.
I don't think that's the right one either.
Are you serious?
This is a low key taco shop. This is an underground thing that
Yeah,
he's
this-
recommending here.
There might be vampires there. Be careful.
It's Para, dude.
I see.
Wait, real fast. Philip, what's your go-to Mexican food in Humboldt? Actually, Fortuna has one of the better Mexican joints in Humboldt.
I mean,
What is that place called?
La Costa.
La Costa. There it is.
Yep.
I like it quite
I think
a
I
bit.
found it.
Sure.
There you go.
Fucking hell.
In Arcata, I like the one that's near you. I can't remember the name of it right now.
El Chipotle, I believe it's called.
They
maybe?
have
That
birria
sounds
ramen?
right. And then the one in Fortuna or in Eureka that I like is oh my god. I'm terrible with names tonight. Louise's
No names.
is the one that I like in
Oh yeah,
Eureka.
Louise's. Yeah, totally.
And then La Costa in Fortuna is fantastic.
I found a video.
Yeah. I got it.
Nice.
Jacob on getting us the scoops.
What was that, Miguel?
Said their birria is good. They actually have goat if you want it.
Ooh. That
It's
sounds
supposed to be
awesome.
made with. So But check it out. It's good shit.
Hell yeah.
Jesus is the only savior, apparently. So there you go. My endorsement this week is Dirt Dog. I went there Saturday, I think. I got the dirty corn. They do have a Snoop's dog. It's this one here. I didn't get that, but I did get some stuff here.
Does it have weed in it?
No,
No,
no.
but you would if you were on weed.
And I
wouldn't be,
was
so.
high as fuck eating this food. That is absolutely true.
I like Dirt Dog. My only issue with Dirt
Pretty good.
Dog is it's kind of expensive for what it is.
Yeah, but I liked it. You know,
Like I've been
I don't
there
know.
like 3 or 4 times. Overall,
Yeah.
it's a good experience. But
well,
if I'm
Miguel
getting an expensive LA style hot dog, I'll go to Dirt Dog.
Miguel doesn't endorse the price, but I endorse the place. So here's a couple pictures of the interior here. I thought it was pretty rad in there.
You know what I miss, Gage? I miss Wolf Dog.
Me too. I know like
Some
that
food.
building for whatever reason is just a curse to restaurants. Like I feel like everyone that goes in there's been this one like building that's been like 5 different places since I've lived in Humboldt.
It's not a good location.
No, it's just one of those. Something will stick eventually.
Yeah.
Or never. It might be haunted. How about
Right now
you?
it's like a
Probably
gyro
not.
shop, like a gyro shop or something. I don't know.
How about you, Philip?
So explain to me, are we just endorsing food here, or is
No, it could be anything.
No, these guys just always do that.
We love food here, okay?
I mean, to be fair, you endorsed meal plans, so that's kind
That's
of
true.
related. So I had
That's
to
his
make
fault.
Sure.
So Gage
I had
likes
to make sure.
Gage likes to endorse an activity. I like to endorse either the beer that I'm drinking currently, which is Sierra Nevada, or because I never come prepared, or someplace I ate.
All right. I want to endorse one of my good friends, Prince Jackson, has a wonderful podcast called The Nightlight Pod. If you are a fan of horror movies or just horror in general, I recommend checking out The Nightlight Pod. They do kind of movie, not really watch-alongs, but like they talk about movies from start to finish.
Cool.
And it's a great way to like re-experience movies you love, especially if you just recently rewatched them or you want to do a rewatch, because then you can go and watch the movie and then listen to their show, and they've got great
Nice.
insights. And some of the most fun that I've had in the last few years is the couple times that I've guested on that show. I did an episode for the Salem's Lot episode that they had, because obviously we live near Ferndale, is where most of Salem's Lot was filmed.
Yep.
So it was just a ton of fun to be able to talk about it and to talk about the area and to talk about, the movie itself, because I love vampires. Vampires are my jam.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I am sad that vampire video games are cursed.
Fright Night? You like Fright Night?
Which one?
The original.
You know what? To be honest, I like all the Fright Nights, even the newer one.
Oh. Well, I love
Yeah.
the original. I haven't seen the new one with what's
Colin Farrell, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah. But the OG is sick.
But yeah, Fright Night is great.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll get that Sony Santa Monica Cory Barlog Castlevania game that he talked about. I'm kind of funny.
Let's hope
Someday, maybe.
someday.
I don't know, man. I honestly think vampire games are cursed. Like, Vampire Survivor isn't really a vampire game, so I can't really say that. I mean, your vampires in another castle.
What about V
It's
Rising?
V Rising is
pretty
a
good.
game that I would say that it is done really well. It's sold really well, but if you ask most people on the street, they'll be like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
not huge.
totally.
But, Still
so I
good.
think it flies under the radar enough to miss the curse. You know what I mean?
but we all know Vampire sucked. Ish.
Is that the Don't Nod game?
Yeah.
Oh, I never played it, but I heard some people liked it. But We'll see.
Story-wise, it's got some really interesting lore stuff that happens in it. But gameplay-wise, especially in more like the boss fight stuff, is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily known for their gameplay, but they do have a couple games coming up that that look kind of interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah, one that's coming out really soon that has a $250 collector's edition that comes with a statue that I don't understand.
Yeah, what? The Banishers? Is that what it is? Or
Yeah,
something?
something like that. That sounds right.
Well, they got their whales.
But anyway, the Nightlight Pod, check them out. They're great.
That's awesome. No,
That's my
and
endorsement.
Bloody Disgusting. Why does Bloody Disgusting sound so familiar?
That's
So
a
Bloody
website.
Disgusting is the website that endorses them. They're kind of like a whole horror network. They own Screambox.
Yes.
They've been writing about horror films on their website, and I think originally a magazine, if I remember correctly, forever. For as long as the internet's been around, as far as I know, their Bloody Disgusting has existed.
Yeah, I think maybe I heard of them through like Last Pod or something. Even I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
But yeah.
They've just been around forever, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry we kept you so late, but we started a little late, so we just went for
This
it.
is early for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, okay. I'm
Let's
with
go.
it. I'm with
dude,
it. I'm just like I don't want our guests to feel like we kept them forever.
I'm jumping straight into Halo after I ate dinner.
To be fair, I kept you guys forever. We were about a half an hour late starting this whole thing because of a work issue I had. So
Yeah,
all
shit
gravy,
happens.
baby.
Thanks
But,
for thanks
Miguel
for being
looks at the screen like, yeah, it was your fault, mother.
Hold on,
It's up to you.
let me. This is Miguel right here.
Rip and tear your guts.
There you go.
Well, thanks for joining us on yet another episode of Neon Pocket Dimension, a place where all things nerdy are welcome. We talked about a lot of nerdy ass shit today. It was really good, and a Whoops All Wive new episode is just what we need every once in a while, especially when there's such a plethora of good games and good times happening out there. So keep an eye out on all the social channels for us. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at NPD Squad there. You can check Twitter for all current updates on what we're doing. We do have a cool page, a Linktree page where all of our stuff can be found. That is linktr.ee. Is that how you do it? /Neon Pocket Dimension. Also, if you're here, you know already, but twitch.tv /Neon Pocket Dimension. And then later, if you want to see it as a VOD, it usually comes out within the next couple days. That is going to be at our parents' studio on YouTube. That's youtube.com/@Odd Valley Studios. And you can see all of our stuff there, as well as our sister podcast, Odd Valley, which is a drinking show, which you guys are recording this Friday, correct, Jacob?
Yeah, man, we're gonna talk all about aliens.
Hell yeah.
We've done an alien episode before, but we need an alien update.
Yeah,
While we get
you're kind of the
shit-faced.
alien. You're kind of the alien guy, and between you and Miguel, there's all sorts of alien shit going on this week, so that's good.
Are you gonna talk about that weird thing that happened? I think it was in Vegas with the blue light. Yeah.
You're damn right, sir. You're damn right. Yes, Mr. Hawks in the chat with the OMGesus DJ Alien emote. Thank you.
There you go. Philip, where can we find Simply Sassy stuff and your personal stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at Phil with 2 L's, J Woodward, on Twitter, and most platforms I'm either going to be Philip or Phil at J Woodward. Yeah.
Did I do right?
Just like that.
Sweet.
Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, at Phil J Woodward or at Phillip J Woodward, 2 L's, on pretty much everything. And then you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Simply Sassy Vids. And thank you guys for having me. Gage, it was wonderful talking to you in person-ish.
Yeah.
For the first time. Same thing. I only know you as OM Jesus, I think is what it is.
Correct.
So I wasn't sure about the pronunciation at first, but I was like, wait a second, it's probably Jesus, right?
Yeah, it's a dumb joke.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. But it was wonderful to meet you and talk to you in person. And Miguel, it was nice to meet you. Just
Thank you.
period.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
and,
much, man. I had a great time.
At some point, we'll have to link up locally since we are local, and we might as well. And kick it.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Do
that'd
it,
be great.
fellas. Okay, one last question to lead us out. What was your first pet's name?
My first pet's name. That's a security question. You're not supposed to answer that.
That is the correct answer. Thank you very much. We will see you next week, probably on Tuesday. You know, because who knows? Sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, promptly, maybe, hopefully.
Sometimes.
But yeah,
Anyone asks you questions like, "What's your first dog's name? What street did you live on? What school did you go to? What was your school mascot?" or any other questions like that, you shouldn't answer them because they are security questions that are often asked when you're signing up for websites. Have a good night.
good night, everyone.